Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out why Earth sucks compared to the planet Hestia by Kurzgesagt. The title was completely different before. I think this is a video about like an ideal Earth. Because obviously Earth is great, it's habitable, but it's not perfect. So I think this is supposed to just be a better version of Earth. Like ideal for human life.
Earth seems like a paradise for life, but it's actually kind of mid. Big parts of it are covered by hostile deserts of ice, fire, rock, or darkness.
I mean, there are a lot of places on Earth where you can't survive.
For life, but ideal. So perfect for the emergence of life, filled with not just biomass, but also biodiversity, that Earth is a barren desert compared to them.
You wouldn't have massive continents on an ideal planet.
As we've begun to look deep into our galaxy, we've found a new and weird type of planet. Super-Earths. Planets larger than Earth that have the potential to not only host life, but to be super habitable. Let's take all the science on exoplanets we have
just put super in front.
World. Hestia, after the Greek goddess of the comfy home, the best possible planet for life in the universe. First of all, we want a perfect star. The perfect star for the perfect world.
And a perfect distance from said star.
But that may not be a yellow dwarf like our sun, because they die in under 10 billion years and keep getting hotter as they age. 70% of the window for life on Earth has already passed. Earth has a mere couple of billion years left before the sun.
Well, humans won't last that long.
70% of stars are red dwarfs. Pretty small and alive for trillions of years, basically forever. Since they're not that bright and hot, their habitable zones where water can be liquid are pretty close to them, which makes it very likely that their planets are tidally locked, one hemisphere a hot desert and the other an icy hell. Also, young red dwarfs tend to vomit deadly radiation that sterilizes their planets or boils their oceans.
Don't want to be around those then.
The perfect stars for life might be orange dwarfs. In the Goldilocks zone between red and yellow dwarfs,
so just in between.
Energy output is very stable, radiation tends to be less aggressive, and most importantly, they live up to 70 billion years, giving life plenty of time to emerge, evolve, and thrive. So here's our perfect star, an orange dwarf, born 3 billion years ago in a calm galactic neighborhood. For the next tens of billions of years, it will be super stable. Among dead rock planets and massive gas giants, one planet is our super habitable super-Earth, Hestia, where life can thrive like nowhere else in the universe.
For super-Earth, for democracy!
Planet, a super habitable world. Hestia's radius is 1.3 times Earth's, so it has 70% more surface area, a lot more space for life. With almost twice Earth's mass and 20% more surface gravity, walking on it you'd feel 20% heavier. Unfortunately, it's a hot, dead desert. Like Mars and Venus today, it's still missing two things. Firstly, a magnetic field that protects Hestia from solar storms and the cosmic radiation that sterilize its surface and blow its atmosphere away like poor Mars. So, deep inside, Hestia gets a massive metallic core spinning in a liquid mantle that creates a magnetic field of exactly the right strength for super strong protection. And Hestia needs plate tectonics to mix its surface around. Venus turned into a 470-degree hell because without tectonic plates breaking and mixing, the tension and heat below its surface unloads in apocalyptic volcanic eruptions. Continental plates moving into the depths also remove CO2 from the surface, which is great because
I didn't know about that.
CO2 makes the atmosphere heat up too much. And they bring up a vital mix of water, minerals, and elements that life can feast on. Okay, now that the basis for life is set, let's see how the surface turns out. We still need to make a bunch of character choices to make Hestia super habitable.
Choices, yeah, pretty much. It's like character creation.
Life has to work with. We want Hestia to have mild seasons that create migration, boom and bust cycles, and evolutionary pressure, so we tilt its axis slightly and give it 36-hour days, and 4 small moons that hang like pearls in the night sky. Moons are crucial because
my biggest issue with time is that there's not enough time in a day to get everything done. So 36-hour days, that would be pretty good.
With the right resonance, they create stability, avoiding overly punishing disruptions. The perfect land, wet, isolated, warm. Earth has one huge downside. Most of its land is bound in large continents, whose central areas are very far away from water, creating deserts
So that's what
with
I
scarce
mentioned earlier.
resources and hostile environments. So for Hestia, we maximize coastlines and avoid megacontinents.
You want
We'll
what is
give it
basically
many
just a
fragmented
giant
continental
archipelago.
plains, creating a geology that's ideal for producing long island arcs. Hestia is now an archipelago world, with a few dozen continents and millions of islands of all sizes and shapes. All of its land has access to water, salt or fresh, without a single desert, creating the maximum land surface area for life. Hestia's biomass on land is also supercharged because we'll make it 5 degrees Celsius warmer than Earth. This doesn't sound like much, but as we know,
it is a
Earth
lot.
has plenty of spaces that are uncomfortably cold for much of the year, while tropical rainforests have ideal conditions for life. On Earth, they hold more biomass than any other land ecosystem, and Hestia is nothing but tropical forests and ice-free polar regions. Hestia's islands have hundreds
I don't know
of
about
thousands
that.
of
Might be a
unique
bit too
habitats,
hot.
with hundreds of thousands of little private niches to fill, each home to unique creatures that are ultra-specialized for it. All possible variations on a theme manifest in different species, one stranger than the next. On Earth, tropical forests like the ones in these islands house 50% of all species on just 10% of its land. The isolated tropical islands have given nature thousands of attempts at building funny tree-type things that densely cover Hestia. On Earth, plants are green to best catch energy from the sun, but with Hestia's orange dwarf, they take on darker shades to hoard the fainter light. We could spend hours diving into cacti forest islands where slow-moving hunter plants shoot poison needles at screeching feathered lemurs, or the fungi forests of the high plateaus dominated by armored centipede lizards. But we should move on to another ecosystem that Earth can only dream of: the sky. The best possible sky, another world to inhabit. Hestia's large mass holds gases much firmer than Earth, so its atmosphere is much thicker, with just under 1.5 times the pressure, but much richer in oxygen and CO2. This could be
Would higher oxygen levels not cause certain creatures like insects to be much larger? The reason why insects grew massive a long time ago is because of at least partially because of the increased levels in oxygen in the atmosphere. Because, what is it? Right now, I think the amount of oxygen is like 22%, but at some point it was like 30-something percent. Insects grew much larger because obviously insects, they breathe differently. Their entire body just like absorbs oxygen. So that's the reason why they can't grow too large, because if they grow too big, they won't be able to get the oxygen into their entire body. The deepest parts of it, the ones furthest away from the skin, wouldn't be getting oxygen. So yeah, that wouldn't work. That's why insects are smaller now than they used to be.
Catastrophic for life because high levels of oxygen make wildfires more likely and more devastating.
Yeah, that's also an issue.
But since Hestia is so warm and humid, evaporation produces so much rain that wildfires never get powerful enough to wipe out ecosystems. The upsides are clearly worth it. On Earth, the size of animals that breathe by diffusion is limited, which might be a good thing for us, but on Hestia,
literally what I just talked about,
can grow huge, like the four-legged insect megaphants, dominating the largest continent. All that oxygen also lets animals have a faster metabolism and sustain higher activity levels. Predators hunt more explosively, prey flees more dynamically, especially in a completely new dimension conquered by life. Up. In Earth's thin atmosphere, flight costs a lot of energy, but in Hestia's super dense air, it's super cheap. Despite the higher surface gravity, animals need much smaller wings and less energy to stay afloat. Over billions of years, thousands of branches of Hestia's evolutionary tree have discovered flight, and the skies are full of flying animals of all sizes. Like this sky whale shooting through the clouds, swallowing millions of tiny bird-like critters.
I mean, this is great and all, but would humans be able to survive on a planet like this? That's the question.
Really well, transfer sound. Hestia is not a quiet place. Anywhere you are, animals are communicating, warning each other, or screaming for mates. This created super weird adaptations, like hunters not trying to sneak up, but masking their direction of attack with disturbing and distracting noises. But we haven't even talked about the largest ecosystem. The best possible oceans, as many edges as possible. Earth's
As many
oceans make up
edges?
most
What?
of its surface and are on average 3,700 meters deep, but sunlight can only reach 200 meters deep. This sunlight zone is the only place plankton, the basis for the food web, can turn sunlight into sugar, so it's where 90% of marine species live. 95% of the sea is in permanent darkness, much of it an abyssal desert. So we don't want Hestia to have as much water as Earth. We do want to cover
Just
most
very
of its
shallow
surface,
oceans?
but it should be shallow. Almost all of its oceans should be continental shelves 1 to 200 meters deep.
Oh,
Virtually all of the ocean and its floor is a sunlight zone. There are downsides to shallow oceans, of course. They heat and cool faster, which creates stronger seasons and more storms. But again, disruptions drive life to specialize and make it more
should really make the oceans reach as deep as 500 meters in some places, so that it's not all just that maximum of 200 meters.
diverse.
Because that is too shallow.
Hestia's oceans house breathtakingly vast ecosystems. Corals form living megacities stretching over thousands of kilometers, home to trillions of animals competing for real estate and forming complex relationships. Pseudo-crabs and fish lizards, and whatever this thing is supposed to be. Bordering the megacities
Well, if
are
us
kelp
humans
and
were on
algae
this
colonies
planet, we
filled
would
with
destroy
life
it.
like tropical rainforests. But
Because
there's
that's just
another
what we do.
biodiversity supercharger, coastlines, where land and sea ecosystems meet. Nutrients mix, birds eat fish, and crocodiles hunt gorillas. Even if they occupy only 7% of the total marine area, they're home to more than half of marine life. Hestia's coastlines are 45 times longer than Earth's, creating niches for dozens of millions of species. A pretty mid-planet like Earth hosts some 9 million complex species. Hestia, with its huge surface area, super habitable conditions, and sheer endless ecosystems, could hold hundreds of millions. What about intelligent life?
Yeah, humans.
Our perfect planet has so many ecosystems and opportunities that it would probably develop sooner or later. Maybe even multiple times at once.
Oh, well, we're talking about
Imagine a planet
different life
where
developing,
different
okay.
alien civilizations exist in parallel, each with their own empires of stone and wood, maybe metal and silicon. How different would their perspective on living things and the nature of life be? Would they try to eradicate each other, respect nature more, or
Every living intelligent being will eventually start war. It's inevitable. Once intelligence develops to the point where you know that you can own something, control it, greed will also develop and you'll want more of it. So any intelligent species will just keep wanting more. So things like war, conquest, that kind of stuff, it's always going to be in every place where intelligent life is present. That's not exclusive to us humans. If there's other intelligent species somewhere out there on different planets, they are likely the same as us.
less, on a planet where any wound you cut would be filled up in no time. What would they think of our desert planet with winters and ice, with a few specks of green? Would they look at space and say, no thank you, to planets that are so obviously inferior? We don't know if a planet like Hestia exists, but it actually could. Maybe among the quadrillions of planets in the universe, somewhere around a small and super stable orange dwarf, there's a place that's home to more life today than Earth has hosted in its entire history.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, this is far from a perfect planet. Because they said that the entire thing is basically a tropical rainforest. It's all tropical. That is terrible, at least for human life. Insects, different wildlife, great for them, especially with the higher oxygen levels, especially for the insects. But you're basically creating hell divers. Literally just hell divers. The temperatures would be much higher than here on Earth, because obviously tropical. You'd have a very high humidity. Overall, not very good. Imagine all the different insects that would be like mosquitoes or ticks. But except now they're just way bigger. Sounds like a terrible place to live. If humans, us, were ever to settle a planet like that, the first thing we would need to do is literally be like Super Earth. Eradicate all the bugs. Also, the moment one species on Hestia discovers how to sharpen rocks and tie them to a long stick and then throw them as spears, everything else on the planet is fucked. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.